captains for this week will be Ryan B. and Tamel One on defense, and Emmanuel Bird and Josh Knight on offense. And that's a couple of new guys that One and Bird will be the first time they've had the opportunity to do that. You watch this Charlotte football team. Brad's done a tremendous job with this football team. They brought the quarterback Clue in, play 61 of the Old Dominion game. That was 3 games ago, and since then they've probably played their best football the last 2 games. Went to FAU and won there, and had the opportunity to win last week against FIU at their place. But since Clue's come in, they're a different football team, and got a tremendous running back in Phillips. He's a tremendous player. If you watch him play defensively, Ogun Joby is a tremendous player, number 65. Watch him, and he's a really good player. So we've got to have a great week of preparation, as always, and this game, to win this game, we got to have a great practice today, tomorrow, and the mental preparation up to that game. And I know our kids are glad to be back home and have the opportunity to play at home again. So
how much better are they than a year ago? A
lot better. I mean, the quarterback makes him. He's a dual threat guy that can run, and you can look at his stats, and he's doesn't look like a young guy that hadn't played a lot of football. He's gone in there. Of course, Jeff Mullen's done a tremendous job with him, and he's like I say, their offense is totally. They got beat pretty bad by Old Dominion. Put him in, play 61, as I mentioned. In the last 2 games, have played their best football, and he's a load. And Phillips, their running back, is probably. I don't think. I know he's all conference a year ago, and he'll be one of the top 1 or 2 backs in our league. He's a really good player.
With the QB, is it more like a North Texas situation where they were having some problems protecting, and so they can get a guy that gets out of the pocket a little bit and makes plays?
Well, they do a lot of things with him. They got designated quarterback runs, which create problems. They've got they'll run the option with him, which creates problems defensively. And he does a good job with the screen game, quick game, and he's throwing the ball vertical down the field. They had one kid, the slot receiver, went about 60 or 70 against FAU there on a screen. So they do a great job with all the screen game, the quick game. He hit some vertical shots against FAU, and also this past week against FIU. So he's got the ability to throw it down the field as well as the quick game and screen game. So and has the ability to run, which creates problems for defenses.
With him, quarterback has Duke, their top receiver. How has that affected him?
Well, I mean, he's able to throw the ball. I mean, there's no doubt that he's got the ability to throw it. And Duke is a guy they want to get a lot of one-on-one situations with him, and in order to stop Phillips and stop the quarterback runs, you're going to sometimes put those corners out on an island out there, and you got to be able to make plays one-on-one. And he's been able to get some plays to the receivers because of it.
We've watched Chris Jackson for the last few games, and it seems like each week he's getting just a little bit better and more confident the last 2 weeks.
I think it's just a tremendous story. It tells you what kind of kid that kid is. I mean, there's nobody could have had a rougher start than what he did. I mean, but he didn't flinch, and he went through a lot of adversity. And there's a lot of kids today that wouldn't be able to get themselves out of that hole when he did. I mean, he just kept going to work every day and working hard, and ended up being the defensive champion this week. So that's what good players, good young players do. They continue to develop, and they eliminate the noise, and they just go to work every day. It's just so happy to see that kid come back and have the success he has, because you've all had the opportunity to talk to him, what a tremendous kid he is, and he's going to be a really good player for us.
Especially at the cornerback position. It seems like there have been freshmen that have come through here, whether it was Lovett, Swag, and Tyndall and all those guys, but all those guys have really bloomed into special players. Is it sort of normal to see cornerbacks that are freshmen coming in have tough starts and then progress their way through it?
You would hope it. It's hard for a guy to young player to come in and play like that as a freshman, but they've all gone through some growing pains. All freshmen do, and he did, and just the way he reacted was just tremendous. And he's playing with a lot of confidence, and he played really well. Really well. Like I say, he was our defensive champion, player of the game. Saturday made some tremendous plays. Made a tremendous play on the 4th down stop, of course, and then of course had the interception prior to the half, which was a big play, and he played well.
Doc, whether you win or however you win a game is important, but when you got one out like you guys did Saturday night, does that just kind of add to the spring and the step of these
Well,
kids?
he's got winning's the thing. Is the key. Whether you gut it out or whether you go score enough points where it's not such in the way it does. But just winning the game is the important thing, and finding a way to win, and that's critical. And there's no doubt that when you win a game the next week, the preparation, the kids come back with a smile on their face, ready to go, and it's always important.
So you want to improve in all facets, but what were the areas that stood out to need the most improvement? Rush defense, rush?
Well, I think the biggest improvement was the second half. We shut them out. I mean, they didn't score in the second half. Regardless of yards, when it got, I think probably that, Doug, is we shut them out in the second half. But if you look at our conversions, we met the goal defensively. We got off the field on third down. We held them on third down, and we also, our goal offensively is to convert third downs, and we did both of those. We met both those goals, which we hadn't been doing. So we got off the field on third down. For the most part, we stopped them in the score zone. When they got down there, we found a way to get them stopped. We were scoring once we got into the score zone, red zone. I think we're second in the league once we get down there. We're just not getting down there enough. We're doing a pretty good job of scoring in the red zone. Once we're there, we got to get there more. And then, of course, our third down conversions were better.
How much better was it for the defense to play 24 minutes instead of 36?
No, anytime it's better because you're playing less plays. So having the opportunity to play less plays, that's always good for the defense. And you know what? One of the reasons they got off the field on third down some too. I mean, a lot of that's, the defense, when you get off the field on third down, you don't play as many plays. And that was part of the reason they did on Saturday.
3 years ago, we almost joked around talking about time of possession because you all were scoring so quick. How's that transition, and how much more important is that time of possession factor for you all now?
Well, we're a little different. I think it's always important. And, even I think in you probably that was 13 or even in 13 with that team, or 14. Our time of possession, we converted third downs, so there's no doubt that we score quick at times, but we were pretty good at times with time of possession because we were converting third downs. And now there were times that we scored quick, as you mentioned, and weren't quite as good. But I think any time you can lead the time of possession and keep the defense off the field is going to help you as a team.
Offensive line, at one point you were down 3 starters. Then again, you still had 5 in there with at least 1 career start. I mean, how did the shuffling go in your mind?
Well, I thought it went well enough to win the game. I mean, at the end of the game there, we scored that final touchdown. I think we had Selby was out and Van Horn was out, and I know those two were out for sure. We also got our center banged up a little bit. So, but Devers went in there and played well, and Sandley went in there and played. He had 13 starts a year ago. Went in there and played well. So that's got to continue. And it looks like all those guys. We may miss a day of practice this week, but it looks like at the end of the day we'll have those guys back, which will be important.
Does that make it a little more gratifying late in the game whenever you're down 2 senior starters on that right side and you're able to get that drive?
Well, I mean, it's gratifying because you win. When you find a way to win the game there, but there's no doubt it's great to see those young guys go in there and respond, and that's what needed to happen. That's what did happen. I thought that last drive, when you think about that last drive, we converted a couple, fourth down to conversion, and a couple third down conversions there that kept that drive alive, which was good to see.
Yeah, neither might. You did say you think they might miss day of practice, but you expect them this week?
I do. Yeah, we'll know more this week. But there's nobody that I see that won't play on Saturday. Now that could change, but as of right now, it looks like they may miss a day. But that should be it.
Probably want more yards per carry offensively, but Keon Davis has given you a lot of tough yards last week. I mean, talk about him staying in the mix for number 1 back like he is.
Yeah, he is. He gives good hard runs, and there was a couple times that the plays were blocked a little better. He's got to do a little better job with some reads, which he will. And see a couple things a little different. So there was a couple deals on third down there that, and even fourth down, that if he sees the right cut, we could have been a little bit more successful as far as yards go. So he'll get that as he goes along, and he'll get better this week at that.
You look at, and I know you mentioned Ogunjobi earlier, their interior defensive linemen. You look down their stats, and they've got a couple guys with like 2 or 1.5 tackles for loss, and then he's got 9.5 from his position, and people focus on him. Does that sort of speak to his talents as a player?
Well, there's no question. I mean, you go watch him, and he's an NFL player. I mean, he is. I mean, he's I don't know where they found him, but they did a nice job of finding him and developing him, and he is an NFL player, and so is the back. I mean, they'll have 2 NFL players out here when we tee it up on Saturday, because And he does that against everybody. I mean, against Louisville and everybody. I mean, they had a hard time with that guy. So he's a legitimate NFL player.
They have a very unique situation. They have 19 redshirt seniors who were there from not just the first game, but the first day the program started practicing. And I mean, that's a lot of experience.
There's no question. And you know what? If you look back, UTSA had the same thing, the 1 year. And you know, I think the one thing that concerns Brad, I know it concerns Brad, is you're going to lose a lot of players in 1 year, because not only do you lose your 19 redshirt seniors or whatever you say they have, but they also got the other seniors that played as true freshmen. So it's an awful big senior class. This will be the biggest senior class they'll probably have in the history of their school this year. And same thing with UTSA, because of the way things fall, because you don't play for a year and all those guys are redshirted. And then next year, in order to play, you got to play all the freshmen to have enough to play. So then when those guys become, so the fifth year of your program, there's a lot of seniors that are going to go walking out of there. And UTSA had the same deal. So I'm sure Brad's going through that now too. It's a good thing this year.
Coach, just as a side note, it is obviously Military Appreciation Day over the weekend. One, is your team, do you guys have any like special plans to honor? And two, like what, in your words, like what's the importance of?
Well, important. I mean, anytime you can honor the veterans, it's huge. I mean, they deserve everything they can get, and we'll explain. Our team understands. We'll understand, you know, what the day is, and we'll explain it to them. But anytime you have the opportunity to, regardless whether you put a sticker on your helmet or wear hats or whatever you do, I think it's important that we honor the military without question, and thank them for all the service that they give us. So our kids understand it, and they'll be excited about playing with whatever we put on their helmets or whatever the hats the coaches wear or sleeves or whatever.
Speaking of veterans, you had a lot of them in last weekend. How good is that for your kids? Be
Yeah.
around teams that won championships and so forth.
That may be the best. I had a chance to talk to Coach Pruitt, and all those people were around, and I think they had 11 NFL players on that 1AA team. I mean, that's unheard of. I mean, that may be the best 1AA team in the history of college football. I mean, I can't believe there's one better. So just to have those guys back and see all those guys, and you know what's amazing, they're so excited. You know, Marshall alums are. I mean, to come back and, you know, that's a lot of them. That's the first time they've seen the Hall of Fame and the indoor, and just the progress that's been made around here, and have the place to honor those guys in the Hall of Fame. But they were all in there during our walkthrough on Friday, and had the opportunity to see the progress that we've made as far as the academic center, sports medicine transition center, and they're really proud, you know, to be a part of Marshall, and they're really proud of what's happened around here as far as the facilities and everything that we got to help the program.
You all were able to get off to a really quick start down there at Charlotte last year, and Chase got into a rhythm and had a career day. How important are those quick starts for him and your passing game to get going?
I don't think anytime you can start quick, it helps you, you know, and I don't think there's any question that you'd like to, and we did, is get out of the gate quick. And, you know, Devontae Allen had a tremendous game down there last year, and somebody needs to step up, and hopefully that happens again.
Are those opportunities there with as much pressure as they bring?
Well, they bring a lot. I mean, they've been a little different the last couple games, to be honest. I mean, they've been in pressure, and they still bring a lot of pressure, but they've been a little different the last couple games, so we don't know exactly what we'll get, but I'm sure our guys will be prepared, and they're going. I guarantee they'll come in here and play extremely hard, and they'll be well coached, and we got to make sure we are too.
On Chase, do you think he might have, I don't know, he's had games like that before. Do you think he might have turned a little corner for the setting up for the rest of the year?
Well, yeah, you look at, there's no, I thought he played, with the exception of the, you know, in the decision he made there at the end of the first half, he played well, made good decisions. And so, you know, he's still a young guy. But that being said, I mean, he played well, but there's no doubt he's got to continue to play like he played, because other than one decision, I thought the kid played really well.
You pleased with how he spread the ball around?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, anytime you can, you know, I thought the one thing he did is, he took what the defense gave us. You know, a lot of those, we talked about that. You've heard us talk about that for the last 3 or 4 years here about, you know, a lot of those balls that were thrown out there to box, and those guys were run pass options where they had too many people in the box, and take it out there and take advantage of it. And he did a good job of doing what he's coached to do and put the ball where it belongs, which will be no different this week. Thanks, guys.